You're back. We're back. PHL Pod, Money Sauce, PHL Review, number 7.
I think you almost got it.
Week. Almost got it. It's getting closer and closer every week. Welcome back
Practice
from
makes perfect.
your excursion to Vancouver.
Yeah,
Pete and I held down the fort there last week.
you guys did a great
And
job. I listened back to it while I was sitting on my partial ocean view patio. It was like the three of us were just hanging out at the beach, watching orcas eat some seals.
as we tend to do. Well, um, then you obviously know that Pete and I put together our predictions for Team Canada for the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
We put up a survey and we got one response.
And it wasn't me.
I think it was Pete because the vote was for Pete's team. So he won the vote 100 to nothing. Okay, moving on.
I saw Survey Monkey and immediately assumed it was spam.
Obviously, you were out on a more than just a whale scouting mission. You were
My team is
out.
so desperate, I'm starting to draft whales
Well,
because
there's
they're
whales on
so
the
bad.
front of the Canucks jerseys, so it makes sense.
Very nice.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I guess I can show this on your scouting mission that you went on.
It was more of a team
So,
meeting that he and I
okay,
had. It wasn't very
okay,
effective. He got 0 points that night.
okay.
But
So did
I was hoping for that photo the whole time from when I purchased tickets to when we got into the building. I just want to get this picture so I can send it to the Fantasy League Discord chat.
and
Yeah.
so so who are the Canucks playing first of all?
They were playing the Minnesota Wild.
Okay, all right. And
Yeah.
so you've obviously been to Leafs games. Uh, I'm assuming you've been to other NHL rinks.
I've been to a few. I was
Mhm.
just trying to figure out which ones I've been to. I've been to the Bell Center for
Mhm.
a game. I've
Nice.
been to the Staples Center.
Yes.
Um, that might be it. No,
Okay.
I was at the last Leafs game at Joe Louis Arena.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So, how would you compare, what is it, Rogers Center, Rogers Arena, Rogers, it's one of the Rogers buildings
don't make me do that
to,
rant again. Yeah, one of the Rogers buildings. It
um,
may as well be like a cell phone store.
how is Vancouver's Rogers Ice Palace um, compared to the other places you've been?
Um, it feels a bit dated, to be honest, and don't hate me, Vancouver fans. Um, I guess like comparing it to the other arenas I've been to. I mean, I was at the Bell Center in like '09, so I haven't been back there, but like the Staples Center was really cutting edge stuff and like just how they
Sure.
I was surprised by how small the arena is actually when you get in there compared to like Scotiabank where it's feels like multiple tiers and they're packed way at the back. It felt like just like your main level, thin layer of boxes, and then like a very small upper level. And even getting to those seats, we were 3 rows back from the glass, but like the entrance is like way up high, and you're walking all the way down. It feels like from the top. There's obviously not, it's not like Scotiabank where you can just like zip in and get sushi under the seats. Um, so I was just surprised by how intimate maybe is a better word it felt. It was a great atmosphere, even for like the last place team and playing the Wild. The people were into it and they played well. Yeah, so I was surprised at that, and I'd never sat so close to an NHL game before. So a lot of people are going to think I'm stupid for saying this, but I never realized how fast hockey was. Like seeing it up close like that, and they're basically playing on the same rink we play on.
Oh yeah.
Like this, the speed at which they operate and make those split decisions, and when you're watching on TV or up high, where I usually sit in the nosebleeds, you can kind of see the game form and be like, oh, he should have passed here because he was open. But when you're on their level, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's everything's coming at you and going so quickly. It was a lot of fun,
Nice,
even if
nice.
my boy Quinn Hughes ignored me the whole night. Was an effective team meeting.
So I last went to Vancouver. Uh, sorry, I last went to a Canucks game in Vancouver about 12 years ago.
Okay,
Um, and so my my uncle lives out there. He split season tickets with a bunch of buddies, kind of thing, and
right.
they're right on the end. I think the Canucks shoot on that goal twice, and they're about 20 rows up or so. But basically, everything you said about the arena is kind of my memory too. It's a functional hockey rink. It's yes, it's intimate. Yes, it's not the most modern,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but it it does the trick. It absolutely more than does the trick, right?
It stands
And
up,
yeah,
didn't collapse. Um, yeah, seems like a nice location too, pretty close to the water. Um, we walked. I got some advice from a local to park. We parked about 15-minute walk away, but then we took
okay,
like this waterfront trail to get there.
okay,
It's kind of a nice walk, and we avoided the headache of trying to leave in that crowd of cars.
yeah, I bet, yeah,
But overall, it was a good experience. The other thing was like we got there a little bit late. We were coming from Capilano. I tried to pack way too much into our last day there. But we had friends who were going to the suspension bridge, and they have everything lit up, the Christmas lights. It was really cool to see, but we had to leave halfway through so we could make this game. And so we just got there in time for the anthems, and we're lining up to go into our section. For whatever reason, our section is the only one with like a lineup to get in. Um, and so we missed like the first 5 to 6 minutes of game time just waiting in this line. And the usher was like slowly letting people to their seats because they don't let you in during the gameplay.
sure. Did you ever find out what was the reason for that line?
People.
Just
There was
just
no
lots of
reason.
people. Okay,
I
fair
guess
enough.
118 was the section where everyone decided to get snacks first and be late.
There
We all did it together. That's my
you
only
go.
guess. Or like the ushers like really being a stickler for putting people in the right seats.
Fair enough.
But yeah, overall it was a lot of fun.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear you had a good time, and I'm disappointed to hear that Hughes did not listen to your instructions. Um,
Yeah, I didn't give him a lot of instructions. How do you give that guy instructions? You know, I was just trying to slap the glass and encourage him from afar, not afar, but from
yeah,
behind the
not when you're
bench.
that close.
You know, there's a gap in the glass in the on the corner there, and I could touch the water bottles. I could just poke it. Like, wow, it's like we're on the same team.
Absolutely. Well, you are.
Yeah, he's on my team.
That's right. Um, I have some breaking-ish news again this week.
We need a sound effect for that. We'll get on that.
We sure do. The Athletic um, polled about 150 NHL players, and they asked them who has the NHL's most punchable face. Before I scroll down to give you the answer, because one player won by quite a bit, do you have any idea who it might be?
Marshawn's face is so punchable.
Yeah, and of course I agree with you, but he came in second. Nick Cousins of the Ottawa Senators came in first.
Wow.
Mhm. They got some player quotes on it, but it was just a lot of um, you know, he, he's a rat. He's a rat. He has a punchable face, so there's no point in really going through all these. But yeah, to be honest with you, I'm surprised it's not just Brad Marchand, 100%.
It's over and over again.
Yeah, but I thought that was interesting. And even more interesting was you have a huge drop off here at just under 2% for a whole list of players. Um, and the last one was on this list, Cale Makar. And I love the quote from the Athletic. One of the faces of the league. Jealousy can fuel hate as much as anything else.
Yeah.
So interesting. Maybe we'll see some of these faces
Some
get
riveting
punched soon
journalism.
enough.
Athletic.
um, Moving on to the PHL and our our week 9 in review. I had Ty who renamed his team. I think he's been listening and noticed that we've been talking about how his team kind of goes the way of his Tampa Bay players, and he's renamed himself the Tyler Bay Lightning Legacy. Um, so close one between me and
That is
Ty
also
this
part of
week.
our breaking-ish news segment. Two team names.
New team names, absolutely. We've little preview. We actually have a second one this coming up this week, but yeah, a close one between me and Ty. 68 even for me, 65.3 for Ty. Player of the week for me, with the 8.8 points. Zach Werenski in Columbus there.
Ooh, D-man.
Hmm.
6
And
assists. Wow.
yeah, big assist week for him. On Ty's side of things, surprisingly not a player from the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was Sam Reinhart from the Florida Panthers, Brad Marchand's teammate there. I wonder if he voted that Marchand's face was punchable.
He's probably the guy who voted for Cale Makar.
So yeah, um, that was the matchup between me and Ty. Next up, we had Colin and Pete. So it was the father and son face off.
Ooh,
Uh, Colin beat up on his dad, 66.8 to 41.6. Not
41.6. Is that a year low?
that is a year low actually. It's so far this year. So
Sorry, Pete. Love you, buddy.
yeah. Um, for Colin, it was a huge week for Mort Sider from Detroit
I
there.
tried to trade for Mort Satter before the season.
1 goal, 5 assists for 10.2 points. Huge week, huge week. And on Pete's side of things, it was Adam Fanatelli from Columbus, 5.8 points.
Oof.
Not the strongest week, but as you can see, there's a lot of O's for Pete this
Oh,
week. O's and IRs, so
yeah, he's
he's
goalies.
yeah, he's struggling with the injury bug right now. Next up, we have Rick and Dave. And Rick, a
Ooh.
good week, 78 points, but Dave, a better week with 89.9 points.
Rick outperformed his projection, but so did Dave.
Yeah.
Big time.
Um,
Big time Bouchard.
Rick actually had a tie with two players that scored 6.8 points in Artemi Panarin and Kyle Connor.
Oh, and Morgan Geeky was right
He,
there.
exactly what I was going to say. Absolutely. He was right there with 6.7. So three guys kind of sharing the load there. And over on Dave's side, Logan Thompson in net there with a big
Woo!
12.6.
Oh, you get that shutout, and you're golden.
Yeah,
98
yeah,
saves. Wow.
yeah. Huge week for Thompson and the Caps there. Though Dave is dealing with a lot of the IR bug as well. Didn't seem to affect him that much this week.
Who's injured on his team?
He's got Carlson right now is day to day, but he's got Josh Norris, Marco Rossi, and Shane Pinto
No
all
one,
on.
no one. None of his big guns.
That's true. Yeah. Now we are off to our other team with the new name, Garrett, who's pasta sticking it in the hymen.
What was it before?
Leave it was just sticking it in the hymen. I think he
Uh,
just added an
Now
extra
he's
one there.
put Pasternak in the position of sticker.
Yeah, there you go. And he faced off against Marcel. Marcel got 75.2. Garrett got a
Huge week for myself.
69.5. Yeah, big one.
15 over projection.
Now, Garrett actually had a huge and interesting week from Ilya Sorkin,
Woo!
14.5, which is the best week for a single player so far this year. So big week for Garrett. It's too bad the forwards are, I guess, Joey Daccord over here couldn't help Sorkin out there to get him a win. And on Marcel's side of things, he actually has two players tied as well. He has Leon Draisaitl with an 8.7, and he also has, where did it go? There it is, Darcy Kemper with an 8.7. So two players sharing the load there to get Marcel over the hump in a big win this week.
Yeah.
Next up, we had the Battle of the Pauls, Captain and Paul Bloomendale.
Some Paul on Paul action.
That's right. Another case where Captain had a pretty good week, but Paul had a better week.
There's a theme of everyone like overperforming their projections.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There was one team this week that underperformed, and I think you can guess who it was. Pete. Sorry, Pete. Yeah,
It
so
underperformed
Captain
for all of us.
71 and Paul 83.8. Huge week there. For Paul Bloomendale, it was Jake Ottinger with the 12.9 as the player of the week. So it's three goalies as the player of the week for teams this week. And for captain, the player of the week, Garrett, I'm sorry.
Ah,
Where is he?
is
Cole
this also our
Caulfield.
weekly check-in?
It is
Oh,
7.5 for Cole.
every day. Them's the
E.
dice.
Yeah, 2 goals for assist. Not bad, not bad. Um, well, let's see how you did against Dan.
Let's do it.
Over here, Dan with the 62.4, and you got the 66.8. So you got the win. The
I
win ticket.
underperformed
You did.
significantly. And Dan was
Uh,
beating me as of Saturday. He came back and my big guns just went quiet on Thursday, quiet on Friday. I was like, gulp. And then Sunday, they showed up finally and kind of closed it out. So I felt very lucky this week.
and you went to the game on Saturday, right?
I did.
Hmm. Interesting. I'm wondering if there's some kind of a correlation there.
The sample size is too small.
So for Dan, and ouch to me, because here we go again. Mackenzie Blackwood is
It's
8.1.
your weekly check-in.
Oh, I should have traded for Blackwood. And on your side of things, we had a huge week from Jake Ottinger.
Jake Ottinger's not on my
No,
team.
no, he's not. I looked at Paul's
Check your
thing
notes.
there. Igor Sherstikid, 7.2 there.
See, that tells
For
you a lot when your best player's just over 7 points.
Yeah, yeah, that's just the kind of week it was. Dan Vlader coming in with a minus 1.8.
Not a great week for him.
No, so you know what I had to look at. Dustin Wolf's week, 12.1 this week for Dustin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I've been tempted to pick him back up, actually. But again,
Well,
We were
The
just
the
talking about
week
sample sizes being too small.
the week before he was 1 point basically,
Yeah,
and then the week before that he was maybe 3 points. So you know,
too risky. There's better
yeah,
options out there.
absolutely.
Ah,
So that means looking at the
still
league
stink.
standings here, what's happened? Paul remains in first at 7-2. Marcel and myself are second and third at 6-3. You, Dave, Garrett, and Colin are 5-4. Ty's at 4-5, kind of by himself there, hanging on to that last playoff spot, which is worth mentioning now because we'll come back to that in a second, but we're almost halfway there.
Mhm.
And we have Rick, Pete, and Dan at 3-6, and then captains down at the bottom with the 2-7 record. Looking into this week, it's week 10. We have a 20-week regular season. So once this week's over, we're halfway there. And we really need to think about those playoff spots going forward. For now, I've got Colin this week. We're both shooting above original projections, but Colin's up 22-18. Pete is against Garrett. Pete's at 21 points this week. He's up from projections. And Garrett's at 12, and yeah, who is not liking where he's going so far this week. Rick and Captain are facing off. Rick's up 16-9. Dave and Tyler are Tyler. I don't think I've ever called him that. Ty are facing off, and they're both shooting under original projections. But
Like he's in
Ty's up.
trouble or something.
Ty's up 10-6. And then we have Dan and Paul Bloomingdale. Dan is up 23-18. Both are projected to get about 70 points. That's
Pretty
huge.
close one.
And we have you and Marcel facing off. You're up 16-12 right now, but
His original projection was in the 80s,
wow,
so it's
that's
coming down.
crazy.
And he was
It's
also
coming.
ahead of me by 9 points this evening at the start of the night. So
Well, good night for you so far then.
yeah, yeah, big dog showing up. Arr, arr.
So that's week 9, and looking forward into week 10 there. Recently, the NHL and the NHLPA had they haven't ratified it yet, but they've come to an agreement on a new CBA. So
Mhm.
thank goodness we're not going to get a workage stop again. It's a 4-year extension, and it'll go into effect in the starting in the 2026-27 season. I thought we would take a quick look at it and talk about some of the changes that are coming up here. The first thing is the regular season will be increased from 82 games to 84 games, and the training camp will be shortened from 21 days to 13, with 5 additional days for rookies.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like in baseball, pitchers and catchers report early, rookies report early.
Makes sense. I like it. I like it a lot. Um, we need to get the Stanley Cup, like, we need to get the season done earlier. The fact that it's ending like late June all the time is ridiculous. So we shorten training camp, add some more games in there. I'm for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're saying that the current idea is to start the regular season in late September, and the Stanley Cup will be awarded by June 21st. So, but hopefully if they speed up the playoffs, maybe it'll be earlier.
Yeah, I think it benefits. You can tighten up the whole hockey season. Players get more rest. You know, you're starting earlier. It's a winter sport, so it's a step in the right direction anyway.
The next note quickly is there's salary increases, of course, on the minimum end, as you would expect from any CBA. So currently entry level contract is $775,000. In 26-27 it'll go 850, and by 29-30 the minimum salary will be $1 million. So as revenues increase, salaries increase. That just kind of makes sense. The next thing is salary retention limits. So the salary retention when you make a trade will still be allowed. That's not changing. What is changing is you can have a second salary retention currently, and there's no restriction as to when it's done. Starting in this CBA, you can only do a second retention um, that will, and it has to happen 75 regular season days after the first one. So a player gets traded from Toronto to Vancouver,
Mm-hmm.
and Toronto has said, I'll keep 10% of his salary. Vancouver decides to trade this guy again. They cannot retain any of the salary until the 75 regular season days. So not calendar days, but and not playoff days. 75 regular season days have passed.
I don't understand the need for this one. I think the salary cap is working as intended. So something like this, unless someone can point it out to me, leave it in the comments below. Um, I I don't get it. Just let them do whatever. Like the salary cap retention thing is let a team who has the space use the space.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100% on that. I'm not quite sure why they feel this is something that was broken and needed to be fixed. The next note is the playoff fund. So just like the minimum um, salary for entry level players, the playoff fund will continue to grow. So this is um, this is the money that players make based on how well their team does in the playoffs, because they actually get their contract pays them for the regular season. They don't make money during the playoffs. So that's what the playoff fund does.
Just in
Currently,
case they
it's
can't cover their costs from
sure.
these
Anyways,
guys.
it starts at 20. It's at 24 million currently, and in 26-27, it's going to be 34 million, and it's going to grow by
Must be tough.
29-30 to $40 million. So
Mm.
again, like any CBA, people are going to make more money. Um, Other quick note is neck protection will be mandatory starting in 26-27, and it will be grandfathered in. Um, Starting in 26-27, the teams will no longer be allowed to implement a dress code. It will be a league-wide dress code, and they've already said that the dress code will be requiring that players dress in a manner consistent with contemporary fashion norms. I don't know about you, this bugs me.
Yeah.
I don't like
Tell me
professionals.
why it bugs you, Jer.
These are professionals, and they're showing up to work. Just like when I go to work and my company says, hey, you have to be dressed in such a way, and this contemporary fashion norms, what even is that? I think professional players in any league, uh, I don't care for this. Like you see it in the NFL a lot, where the TV crews in the pregame show are zooming in, and here comes I can't think of the name of the guy, the quarterback for Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. And he's always got some crazy, he loves modern fashion, and he's got some crazy outfit on and all. Yeah, wear that in your time. That's fine.
Not in
Either
Jer's time.
if you're a professional, you should either be wearing a suit or you should be wearing team issued gear. And that's
Oh,
it. That's my
no team
opinion.
issued sweats.
If it's a tracksuit, if it's a um like a jogging suit that's like a zip up sweater with the
Crushed
team
velvet,
logo,
turn
or
angle.
sure, if that's what they decide. But you are representing the team. Coming in looking like you're wearing a dyed skunk that, you know, with pink and purple stripes and sunglasses that are this big and a hat that maybe Dr. Seuss would have worn or so. I don't want to see any of that.
Stop shopping at Whoville, Joe Burrows.
Anyways, you're professionals, dress like a professional. And
It
I
really
don't,
takes away from the team aspect, you know, when you the whole point of a dress code is like we're a team, this is how we present ourselves in a professional way, whatever. Lou Lamorelle
mhm,
said you couldn't have a beard. Okay. But like the loosening those restrictions really puts the emphasis on the almost like the individual marketing, the athlete marketing themselves above the team. You know, I stand
absolutely.
out. I'm really into fashion. This is how I look, and everyone else just looks whatever. So, I I'm with you. I whatever that thing is. I think it like I don't know why you need a league wide dress code. Why would you upload that from the teams?
No, no
You know,
clue. No
just
clue.
let the team do it and
Yeah,
move on. You know.
exactly. Agreed. Another note, teams will be allowed to employ a permanent emergency backup goaltender who will travel with the club, so no more Zamboni drivers showing up for the visiting team.
Bragg, if you're listening, submit your resume. This is your chance.
Shorter max term contracts, so basically it's 1 year or less. So in the past, you could, if you were re-signing with the team, you could sign for 7 years. If you are signing with a new team, you could sign for 6 years. These will now be 6 years and 5 years, respectively. We know that they're going to the Olympics. There is now an emergency healthcare fund for retired players. Basically, there's a $4 million annual pot that the NHLPA can draw from to help their retired players with, yeah, with healthcare needs. There no longer will players be allowed to do, except I should say, booze endorsements. So wine and spirits companies cannot offer endorsements to individual players anymore. There will
I
be
assume
no
it's
more.
because the league has their own sponsors.
It's
They
not
don't want
specified in this, but I assume the same thing. Absolutely.
not for, to present a more wholesome image for their athletes. That's for sure.
Yeah. No more fitness testing, which is a weird one, but fitness testing will no longer be permitted during training camp or the regular season. Speaking of healthcare and fitness testing and all that, there is now a new system called to resolve medical disputes. So when a player seeks a second medical opinion that's different from the original opinion from the team doctor, and those two doctors disagree, a third doctor must be selected to help resolve the dispute. And the team must give due consideration to the third doctor, of course, but they also must pay for the costs of the third doctor. So
Does
if
it
a
say
pl
how they select the third doctor?
there is no indication as to how that's done. My guess is because this hasn't been ratified, they haven't come up with the way to do it
Oh,
yet.
okay.
Um, they have now curbed front-loaded contracts. So, in a nutshell, a player th can have a year-over-year increase but it will be limited to 20% of the first year. So if a player makes $10 million, the next year cannot exceed a raise of $2 million.
Right.
They're just trying to
So they're really going
avoid,
after circumvention of the average value.
right?
Right.
Absolutely, exactly. Um, the other note about contracts is there's no more deferrals allowed. So the perfect example is John Tavares when he signed his new contract with the Maple Leafs. There was a $2 million deferred bonus payment to the same point to try to, you know, avoid contracts.
So instead of giving him a signing bonus, it's like a completion bonus.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it depends exactly what the terms of the deferred bonus was, but
Mm.
instead of paying it right up front as a signing bonus tends to be, they deferred it to later so that they wouldn't be worried about the current year's contract versus the salary cap, which obviously has been a problem for the Leafs over the past few years. That's just not allowed anymore. Um, The other contract note is European players aged 25 to 27 previously, if they were coming to the NHL after playing in Europe, were required to sign entry-level contracts. That's no longer the case. They're just free agents,
Oh,
which seems right to me. Now, the big thing will be the draft, the change in the draft. So, there will be a draft held as in the past. Players will be selected from the CHL, Europe, or the NCAA. With the change of the rules in the NCAA and players being able to get paid by the NCAA schools, players that are younger now have the option to go to American colleges and yeah, and make money. So they're taking that up as opposed to just, the top prospects going to the CHL, which was an automatic in the past. So because of the NCAA paying players, um, some players may opt to stay in college longer. So what the NHL has said is for players that are selected at age 18, the team will be able to retain their rights for 4 years. So they have 4 years basically to sign this guy.
and how is
For
that different from now?
um, my understanding is that it's only 3 years across the board, regardless
Right.
of age.
Okay.
So, and then for players drafted age 19 or above, teams will retain their rights for 3 years. So there is one exception to this. So for players in the NCAA at the time of the expiration of that 3 or 4 years, their rights will be extended 30 days after notifying the NHL that they no longer plan on playing college hockey in the future.
Mm.
So basically, they open up an extra window to get that contract done for that 30 days.
Right.
Um, if they say, yeah, we're not going back. So, yeah. So, I mean, the big change there really is you historically hadn't seen many players drafted out of the NCAA because they hadn't been enticed to go to the NCAA at age 18. Uh, you know,
Do they play
um,
what does the NCAA season look like compared to the OHL season or the CHL season rather?
okay, so I know it's a shorter.
That's my thought too. So you might be making money, but for your own development, it may not be the best course forward. But I don't see anyone turning down actual money while you're getting a scholarship, assuming. So like money on top of money during your education,
You're right, absolutely,
right?
absolutely. And that's the, That's the main thing. Now, the other thing too with the NCAA is you, I, my understanding is the way that it works is the different conferences. So you'll have like the Big Ten or um, I should know more of these, but I'm really not a big college hockey or football fan. I think Atlantic Hockey is another one, and um, I, Hockey East. I know Boston College plays there. Anyways, I think the regular season depends on which conference you're playing in as to how long it runs because there's more teams in certain conferences, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then at the end of the season, there are all sorts of tournaments too, but the big one, of course, is the Frozen Four, I believe it is, which is their equivalent of the college. Well, college football has a playoff now, but in the past, they basically ranked teams and then decided who were the top two teams to play for the college football championship based on their rankings. But the Frozen Four, I believe they choose the top four, and then they go into a tournament and play for like the NCAA championship, right? So
Mhm.
definitely though, by the looks of things here, the like seasons are significantly shorter. Just I see
Yeah, so you're not playing as much hockey.
nowhere near
Oh.
as much. Based on this, it looks like what I'm seeing, I almost don't believe this, but what I'm seeing is the Atlantic Hockey America standings, games played, 7. Big Ten, 10 games. Um, you know, Central Collegiate Hockey Association, 10 games. Like it can't only be 10 games, right? Like here, the
I
national,
legitimately don't know.
I don't either. And this is going to be something that we're going to have to kind of learn because now with the NCAA being significant in terms of being a league or a system that these younger players can go through as prospects. Um, yeah, we got to see how
Yeah,
that works out.
it's a very different world in junior hockey right now because of it. And
Yeah, and
I
it
don't know enough college hockey people to be like, yeah, they saw this coming. But like as a casual fan, I was like, whoa. So now is like the CHL gonna have to pay their players, And what that's gonna do, what is that? What would that do for small town teams? Like the London Knights will be fine.
sure, absolutely.
But the North Bay Battalion might be a different story. The Brampton Steelheads, the smaller market teams like can't afford to pay guys
Right,
at least like significant money, like the NCAA is.
right.
So on top of a scholarship, like it's too good to not take
It's
advantage of.
it seems like it is kind of spelling the end eventually for the CHL, but only only time will tell, right? On paper, the NCAA seems like too good of a deal to pass up for
But you
young
still have to be
guys.
like 18, 19 to go. That's the saving grace for the CHL,
So the
right?
CHL will become a 16, 15, 16 to 17, 18 league. Generally speaking, 15-year-olds were not allowed in the league unless they got exceptional status
Maybe that will
exemption.
change.
So maybe that's what'll change. Yeah, we'll see.
15, you're still so
But
small for some kids.
exactly. But that'll all kind of come out in the years to come, and that's based on this change in the CBA and what the NCAA has done there. Team owners must pay for workers' comp and payroll taxes, which, you know, just seems to make sense to me. So that was in the past, that was on the Players Association. So it's
That's
about
mind-boggling to me. Is that normal for unions? That unions are responsible for workman's comp?
That's a good question.
It feels like the team you're playing for, the league should be paying into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if
But
maybe your union dues do cover that. I don't know. I've never worked for a union before.
yeah, nor have I. So we're probably the two worst people to to ask that question too.
True.
Other big thing that comes out of this CBA is that they haven't given the full description as to how it will work. But this was, I think, the biggest point of this CBA is there will be limitations on the extra cap space that a team will receive when a player goes on long-term injured reserve during the regular season.
Mm.
And that is because of, well, I call it the Golden Knight rule, where they put players on the LTIR who sit out the season and then they all of a sudden are all there for the playoffs.
It's a good
So
scam.
it says teams will only be allowed to exceed the cap by an amount equal to the prior season's average salary. So it says unless the NHL and NHLPA approve the full amount. So it's not completely
Unless they can make an
there,
exception.
but
Notwithstanding clause.
yeah, right. But basically, yeah, that's the idea here is that they don't want players missing a whole season and then playing the playoffs. And they don't want I'm not going to say they don't want the Knights doing that anymore because I have a conspiracy theory that they help the Knights win because they want Vegas to be successful, but um, but they have to, I guess, stop letting it be so obvious.
Well, other teams have caught on, right?
Absolutely.
So Florida's done it. Tampa Bay did it.
Other big thing to say here too is we aren't having a workage stop. Like it feels like every CBA over the last 10 years they've stopped playing.
Did they stop at the
So
last one? I don't think they did.
I okay, well,
I feel like it's been a while since we've heard like because COVID would have delayed everything, and I don't know.
feel like hockey's been, if nothing else, I'm going to say past 15 years, hockey's been the one that has had the most work stoppages. And for a while, it definitely hurt my interest in the league.
Did it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Well, what's the point in getting attached to something that keeps disappearing for a while? Every, 4 years or 6 years or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, if
like the
they
Olympics.
could, oh, fair enough, fair enough. Um, yeah, well, with that said, we look forward to next week. We have we have a big week next week, Garrett. You keep laughing at me, but we have a big week next week.
It's
Like I said,
midterms.
it's midterms, and we're gonna have to go full stat nerd on you guys next week. So
Yep, we're gonna go over everyone's team, see how many draft picks they kept, who they should have kept, who they should have cut, and relived all the landmines that I stepped on.
there you go. So until then, uh, thanks for this week. Welcome back, and we'll talk to you all next week.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.